The Subcommittee of Communications and Digital Technologies Portfolio Committee has finalized a list of 12 candidates to be considered to serve on the SABC board. Now, the SABC is currently without board members, and that has been over a month now. Recommendations are not yet final and still seek further approval. However, it is worthwhile taking a look at what the public broadcaster may expect for its future prosperity and what the public expects from its national broadcaster. So for more on this, we are joined by Thinus Ferreira, who is a broadcasting industry expert, to talk about these latest developments. Thinus, good morning. Welcome to Morning Live once more.
Hello.
So what do you make of these suggested names for the SABC board?
I thought, firstly, let me just say congratulations to Morning Live, the whole team there in front of the screen and behind the scenes. I think the public isn't aware of the ratings that the industry look at, but Morning Live is just terrific in terms of its overperformance. It's really become one of the most valuable assets that the SABC has, and I think it's the testament to you guys there as well as in the control room.
Thank you, Thinus. Let me just say, we did not pay Thinus to say that.
Yeah.
Okay, now back to the serious stuff.
I think the SABC board is actually well balanced and quite experienced, and it made me think yesterday when I saw the list of the 1966 film that's titled The Funny Thing Happened on the Way to the Forum. And I think the funny thing that happened on the way to the forum here is how the various political parties in South Africa for once showed that they can come to the table and work together without fighting. The ANC, the DA, the IFP and the EFF, and they actually put together quite a well done, very balanced list, and not just because there's 6 women and 6 men, but also bringing in more expertise, more experienced people. I think we can be, as the South African public, quite happy with the list of the 12 names.
And now, as it stands, those 12 names obviously still need further approval in the committees and has to be rubber stamped further down the line. But what are the chances, given how this process works, that those names will change?
I don't think they will change. I think all 12 will go to the National Assembly, and then President Cyril Ramaphosa will approve them. I think they're all fine. There's just one issue with one person who's Nombuyiso Bati. She's the CEO of the Association of Communications and Technology, or ACT. So she will just, because that would be a conflict of interest, she will just have to resign from that body. Otherwise, I think that's mostly fine.
And I must say, I echo your sentiments in terms of the industry know-how and expertise contained on that board. But that being said, Thinus, what do you think, or what do you know, is currently troubling the SABC most? What is the public broadcaster struggling with the most at this point?
I think because the broadcaster is constantly working, and if I say short-term crisis, it is obviously over months and it is ongoing, but it is short-term compared to more longer-term visions. So because there's constantly issues about financial troubles or financial issues or labor issues, you kind of get bogged down in just trying to solve the next thing. It's sort of like the same as what's happening at ESCOM or these other organizations. So what the SABC really needs to do, or the new board, is to sort of benchmark with other public broadcasters around the world, like Canada or Australia or the BBC, and sort of come up with a much longer term vision. But you can't do that if you're constantly trying to solve immediate issues. To sort of look at like a much broader vision for the SABC. Where is it going to go in terms of digital and this really rapid transformation of the industry? What is our goals where we want to move the SABC towards as an 85-year-old organization?
And, you know, I like that you say, what is our goal? Because SABC Inc. belongs to South Africa Inc., which means everybody in this country has a stake, is essentially a shareholder in this particular entity. So if we look at what's happening now, we see the former head of news here at SABC, Patiswa Magopeni, she's also on that list. And there are other former SABC employees. Now, their knowledge, previous knowledge of operations and otherwise at the SABC. How do you view that? Is it something that's going to be beneficial to the task of the board ahead, or do you think that, we need more fresh minds and that would perhaps be better for the task?
I think it's actually great, and it's great that that percentage is also increasing. So we've got Mpot Sedu, we've got Franz Kruger, we've got Renee Horn, who will be back, Patiswa Mahopeni is back. It's so great to have those people who've been at the SABC. They know the struggles, they know the practical issues, they know the real challenges, and they can inform the board as to what the real stakes are, what the real issues are, and why some things might work or not work, or where more help or more resources and things like that are needed. If you think of the 12-person board, we will now have 4 people who have been at the SABC, who know the real day-to-day grind and the challenges. We also have more people like Ofeli Makwanya. She's an independent researcher and consultant. She knows about film production. So it's really great to have that expertise, because you can just steer the ship better if you've worked your way up and have experience of how the ship actually works.
We have Advocate Tipanyane as well, and, from a Human Rights Commission perspective in his former work. So those things, obviously, as far as the public the public broadcaster goes, is obviously important, and things that we could do better at.
We're also going to get for the SABC a chartered accountant, UNISA's chief financial officer, Katutselo Ramakumba, Kelly Kumalo's lawyer, Magdalene Moonsamy. So it's good to bring more of that expertise in, instead of just sort of purely political appointments of people who don't really have an expertise. And that's also why it's, for me, really surprising. I think the political parties have realized that our country's big organizations are really in crisis. It can't really be pushed further, and we really need to bring in real life, real world expertise in various fields to come in and to help organizations.
Well, certainly looking forward to this and see how it moves from here on and takes the SABC forward. But just before you go, Thinus, what was that thing you were saying about Morning Live again?
Not just the best show in the morning, but actually in the whole of daytime. So the ratings for Morning Live keeps increasing month by month. It's now in October, it stood at 570,000 viewers. So it's the biggest show in the morning. And I think it's the testament to what you guys are putting on in terms of the content in front of the screen and the work behind the scenes. And also, I think the whole atmosphere. It's great to watch you guys, and Morning Live is really, with the resources that you guys have, one of the most valuable shows that the SABC has, and that's really true.
Well, Thinus, thank you so much. Thinus Ferreira, broadcast industry expert, speaking to us about Parliament's Communications Subcommittee finally completing that list of recommended names to fill the SABC board. And you heard all the good things about Morning Live, and that's thanks to you, and it's thanks to the production team and everybody who makes this the show that it is. We thank you and we appreciate you. And just a final disclaimer, we did not pay Thinus to say that.